Hello friends, welcome back to our CPI Learning Series, and this is episode 2. And in this episode, I'm planning to, demonstrate how to build a super simplified integration flow, which will, deploy to BTP and eventually test it that through SOAP-UI. I'm a bit excited. I believe you are too equally. So let's head over to that. But before this, I just wanted to call out in the previous episode, I already spoke about how to set up the environment. If you have missed out by some reason, no worries. I have given the video URL in the description box below so that you can check this out later. So to start with, we'll be going to this instances and subscriptions. That will take us to this page where I have the integration suite. If I click on that, in the detail view, we'll be seeing a button called Go to Application, and if I click on that, it will open another portal page. Okay, as you can see, there is nothing is deployed as of now. Nothing started, nothing starting or any kind of other status. All set to 0. No worries. So let's go to that section called Design Integrations. In the previous episode, I already walked through at a high level, so I believe you can recall those things. So here's the page where we have to start building with our package to start with. All right, so click on this create and it will give a pop-up where you have to just enter certain details for your package. I'm saying like developed by SOM, and the description is demo package for iFlows, right? All right, so if I click on save, it will be saved this package, and all the artifacts that we're going to create, that will be put into that package only. If you go to this artifacts, you'll see an option called add. If you click on that, a couple of options will find. So if you click on this integration flow, this is what we are interested in this episode and also subsequent episodes. Now you have two options. The redo button, you can see this create and upload. So we'll be doing a create, and if you have all some already certain integration flow as a file which you might have exported from other server or something other user account, so that you can also upload, because that time you will just select that integration flow and you can have this within your package. Anyways, we'll be having to start it from here. I can say like my first iFlow, so that is my flow name. Sender receiver, just for so sender is basically SOAP-UI will send my request, and receiver is basically, I can say, SAP CPI, just for your understanding how things are, but it's not giving any that it's not having that significance for our current discussion. So click on OK. So it will be creating one integration flow. As you can see, my first flow type is integration flow, the version is 1.0. Certain actions are there, so once you are ready to deploy, you have a provision to deploy from here. You can do certain configurations. You want to see the metadata, copy, delete, all kind of, even the download options you can see as it's available. So you can download this integration flow from this account, and you can upload it with an upload review button just now we have seen. Anyway, so let's get into that, and the page that you'll see something like this. Here you can see this kind of a center. The middle box is all the flow that will contain, and the right side is the receiver. So what we'll do, first you have to click on create. By default it's a display only kind of things, and here you can see lots of buttons and options are given. We'll be using many of them in subsequent episode, but not for today's episode much. Anyway, so let's double click on that. You'll find something called this kind of a center, so I'll prefer to change it to SOAP, and because this is what our request center, so now you'll get an kind of a arrow mark. So if you just select and link to the start, because there we are just sending this message to the start event. So these are the adapters. What type of adapters that we can select out of? Plenty of options given, so we are interested for SOAP. If you click on SOAP, you will get SOAP1.x and SOAP RM. I'm sorry, SAP RM. SAP RM is a reliable message, and it's kind of a sequential messaging that it offers the capabilities. But we will be, majority will be using the SOAP 1.x, which is an W3C kind of a consortium validated, and this is the what multi-SOAP service mostly using it, this version 1.0 and above. So we'll be selecting this one. So now I'll be getting a lot of different tabs like this. So as you can see that what are the transfer protocols that we'll be using, what is the message protocol we have selected. Adapter we are selecting SOAP obviously out of the pop-up. So now go to connections. This is the endpoint. Address is nothing but an endpoint. It's your own choice. You can say like say hello kind of, okay, anything you can give. It's an endpoint. Now interesting fact to look out. So here is the message exchange pattern is request reply, and another option is called one way. It means like if you send some request to this service, because eventually while when we will deploy this to our BTP, it will create or give us certain consumable service URL, which endpoint will be this one. So if we make a request to that service, eventually we'll be getting the same response. So certain information will get back. Not the same response means I'll expect certain response if we just go for a the SOAP adapter we are selecting as a request reply. If we could select only one way, that means we'll make a request, but we'll not supposed to see any response back. This is quite important. Authorization. I have two options again. One is called client certificate, where is a client certificate means, as you know, the certificate based authentication. And another option is the user role, which is the basic authentication that we'll be using. The user role, which is very important. Even you go for a CPI certification, this is the question it appears, like what type of user role is required to send a message successfully. And that is the ESB messaging.send. That's the role we have to give. So the user who will be trying to make a request to should have this messaging send kind of a role. Okay, that we'll see shortly. That's all set. So let's go for a saving. So now it's, you see kind of a marker, yellow marker it's giving. I've just put it kind of a dark reader. So if I just take it off, kind of a yellow marker, as you can see. So if I just click on save, this marker will go. You can see. So if there is any error or warning, make sure you fix them before you proceed. All right, so now if you select any of them, you basically get the below page accordingly. Currently it's nothing is selected, so it's outside of the box. So we are seeing the integration flow. There are a couple of tabs like general, then runtime configuration, error configuration, and then resources. So resources is a tab which we'll be using multiple times in our future episodes. Currently we are not using anything, that's true, but we'll be using it a lot. We are not actually using any receiver here. Will not be using it because the request will come here, the process will end. The moment it's end, it will eventually send back the details back to SOAP, to our client, which is a SOAP UI. All right, obviously you can anticipate like we will be needing a SOAP UI as a tool to be installed. That will also go through shortly. So all this said, what is required now? Just will be go for save. I believe I have already clicked on save. So let's deploy. If I click on deploy, is a pop-up configuration. Yes, this artifact is to be deployed to SAP Cloud Integration profile. Yes, we want to deploy it. If you click on that, you will get another pop-up. This is triggered for the deployment. Now, how to see the further things, you can click over here to the monitor, go to integrations, and you'll see something over here as a dashboard. As you can see, one started, right? And one thing is also you can see that user profile. If you click on that, you'll see something called, we have just seen, right? That is the user role is required. All right, so if you go up, you can see it's already started. All right, so this my first flow is already started, but in the endpoints it's saying that there is no endpoints configured. That's not true. I said like this is a bit slow, so just have patience, make some refresh a couple of times, then you will see this kind of a link which is say hello we already configured, right, for the SOAP adapter from the connection tab. So this is the service URL, so it is consumable. And this path is also a question, like CSF is what the kind of a route through which the endpoints cover. So this is also a question, it appears in the CPI certification. All right, so now thing is to test this service, we basically need some tool called SOAPUI. You can download it from SOAPUI download. You just write it this way for Windows. You take it nowhere others but direct from this soapui.org. So from here you always download the tool, and there is no worries. Based on your machine type, it will automatically offer which versions you want to install. Obviously my machine is at 64-bit. I'll be downloading this one. So once you download it, it will be stored as an executable, and that you need to install. Yeah, it's downloading. The download is going on. All right, it's already downloaded. So let's go to the folder and we just double click on that. I think it is not shared. Okay, so let's click on run. Yeah, so this wizard will help you to install the application. Yeah, so click on the next. You might need administrative access in your machine. I'm not sure, but for me it's like that. So let's go for next. I don't need the tutorials. Only the SOAP UI is what I need. And this type of user interface we'll see. All right, to start with, what you can do, you can create a SOAP project. And before that, SOAP UI, actually to start with it, you need basically certain web service descriptor language called WSDL. So that WSDL file we need to have somewhere from to test our service. So what you can do, there are plenty of free WSDL that you can look at in the internet. We save certain you can check this URL. I'll just give in the description box. So you can copy this one, and that is what you can get the WSDL from. So if you copy and just enter, what will happen, it will just give certain files. Go to network, and if you click on make request, you will see this type of one. Go to response, and this is what is basically the actual data, because it doesn't have this XML version, like it will not work. If you copy this one, it shouldn't work in your. So copy this enter file, enter information. I don't know why it is not. Yeah, just copy it and put it into some notepad. And I've saved that as a WSDL file. So now we can open our SOAP UI, and you can click on SOAP, and you have to give the project name. You can say demo. You can give anything. So initial WSDL select here, and just download from download folders. Yeah, this is what the file. You click on OK. Yeah, so this is the file gets loaded. As you can see, calculator SOAP. So if you just click on add, and you will get a request. So now you can see, you click on, if put any value, because two values you want to add, let's say 10 and 5. And if you click on send, what will happen, it will make a request to this URL, and you'll get certain response. So if you click on it, there are two tabs, as you can see. One is a raw, other is XML. If you click on XML, then you'll see the addition sum is coming over here, right? As you can see, the response is coming like that. But again, I'm making another value, let's say 12. So on 12 and 5, it should be 17. As you can see, it always takes the raw tab as the default, and basically I need to click on this XML to see the response is 17. It's not that annoying, but I believe there is certain solution to this problem. Thing is, like, this particular UI doesn't have any, I mean, this application or software doesn't have such setup through which you can make this XML as default. But I found some other solution that I can, I'll discuss a little later, because it's not that important, but it's up to you, right? Because I prefer always to see the XML by default, and if really it's not coming, something happened wrong, then probably I can go to raw to see the different status messages, what's went wrong, right? That's what my preference, it depends on, but I'll talk about if you are interested to know that how to make this XML as default. All right, so nothing is, this is the service URL which I want to use it as my request to our service that we just created. So our service is here, so let's copy this one and go to the SOAP UI. We can click on here, add a new endpoint, just paste it and click on OK. Now, if everything fine, what will happen? We're definitely not going to, because our service URL is now different. The provider service URL is not what we just have seen. We are changing with our service, and our service doesn't have any capabilities as of now. It's just taking a request and sending back the response, and response is the same request that, or the payload that it has received. So if I'm sending this one, eventually I'll get the same as a response, not this kind of a one. Let's try this out. Let's see. Of course, before that, we need an authentication and authorization part. So if I click on authentication, so it's no authentication authorization by default. You have to click on add new authorization. It's a basic, so that user ID and password. So now the thing is, this password is not your universal ID password. It will not work. So make sure you set the other password of your BTP, not the universal ID password will work here. If you make a send request, what is the problem? Do you think it will give me the response? It will not, because you have seen that user need to have some sort of a role called messaging send, right? That user doesn't have this role as of now. So if I click on that, what will happen? Yeah, it's C403 forbidden, means it is missing the authorization part, because authentication and authorization, two things are different, right? So authentication is working fine. So let's say if I am removing some password, incorrect password, and making a request, it will be 401, it will say unauthorized, right? But if I entering the correct password and just make a request, it becomes 403, because now the authorization kind of a role is having a mismatch, and that's why I'm not getting the response. So what would be our next action item? Just to add that role. So go to BTP, go to security, go to role collection, and you'll see a lot of roles. Yeah, so these are the available role collection. Majority of the role collections all we received during the subscribing of the integration suite. But one of the role is probably integration advisor, okay, integration provisioner. Sorry. If you go to that, uh, probably it has that integration provisioning admin. But if I click on edit, I cannot add one more role to this SAP provided role collection. So what you can do, we can create one custom role, right? So you click on plus, and so custom role collection you can create called CPI message sending role, something like that. So if I click on create, so that role collection will be created, as you can see here. Click on that, go for edit, and if you click on this role and search for messaging send, yeah, so you will find this kind of a messaging send role. So in my case, it is actually this one to be added. Probably how did I know it? That the reason is, if I cancel it for the time being provision, if you click on that, yeah, I think this is the application identifier. Okay, this is what our is our importance when I'll assign the messaging send role. So that's why we are adding. I'll be basically requiring the first one, not the second one. So if I click on that, yeah, just little detailing I want to ensure, so that when you perform this thing on your end, you should not get stuck. If I this is the one I need it, but I can add both, but let's do only the first one. Click on add and click on save. So now this role collection get created and assigned a role to that. All right, so now one thing is, in this role you have a provision to add the user. So I'll add my user ID and save it, so that way the role collection is now linked to the user itself. All right, so looking at this kind of a setup is very important, and this is, without this things will not work. Now one weird thing is, like, instead I mean, despite of doing all those kind of a configuration, if I just go to SOAPY and go for a send, probably it will not work. If you click on that, the same issue, it will say 403 forbidden. One try we can make, first attempt is like to restart this server, still it will not work. And the reason is, it is something a problem with the CPI. It is little taking some time, kind of a after certain time only this changes in the user profile reflects over here. It's already restarted, looks like, and if I restart, I'll see this same kind of a endpoint path. So if I just click on that, ideally it should work. It may not. Same issue. So don't get frustrated, because yeah, initially it looks like something is missing, something is not working. But if you are performing whatever we have just we have seen, then you are good. So I'll basically pause this video for some longer duration this time, maybe half an hour or something like that, and then only it will be reflecting, and then I'll just click on that. It will give me a 200 okay. So I'm pausing this video for that time. So finally I've seen that I are getting 200 okay after after a lot of time, almost 40 minutes to 45 minutes I had to wait, and I didn't do anything else, and just kept trying intermittently, just to see when it becomes 200 okay. As you can see, the default response tab comes to raw, and if we click on XML, we'll see the same request is actually appearing as a response, because our CPI service doesn't have any capability to calculate the input values and send back the summation results. That we can do in our future episodes. Now the last pending part is all about go to that thing. If we go for the integration monitor, as now you can see that it is now one completed message. If you click on that, you will just see something called my first workflow, my iFlow, sorry. And yeah, this is actually kind of details that you can see, the package and all those things. Certain properties, logs. Okay, if I open text view, let's see. I think it opens in a. So this is all kind of the log message that you can see over here. All right, so let's go back, and what we can do next, we can go our integrations back and click on this started, and couple of things over here like status details, and in the log configurations, current log levels is showing as info. That's why this default is set up as info. There are a couple of other options like given, like either debug and trace. I'm not lingering this video with all those different options to check with like how the results appear. That definitely very important, but we'll park those topics for the future episodes to call out. Just one thing pending as of now, and that is it's an optional basically. Yeah, I told like this is the kind of a default setup. So I found one of the blog post over LinkedIn, and this is what the solution it offers. It's very simple. They are saying like I just need to back up my bin sopu as jar file. So that is kind of a Java based tool, right? So I just open this one, and if I just go for file folders, so this opens. If I go for the bin, and this is what the file which actually appears default while I install this one. So what they're saying like I need to download from this Git repository. So if I copy and go to this Git, I will get this jar file. If I click on that, it will not open of course, but I can download it. File gets downloaded now. Yeah, so if we just go there, so this is the file. I just need to copy, and in other folder I have just opened it. So I just need to paste it over here, and I just need to say like replace the file in the destination. So if I replace it with the administrator right, boom, so this file gets saved. So let's close this one, exit. Yes, I want to exit. I'm just reloading this app after exiting out of, closing it. It's all kind of vanished looks like. So let's create once again called demo. Click on OK and now click on send. Yeah, it's working really. So you see, this is no more taking me the raw, but it's actually raw is here. So if I click on again the request, I always get this response. So that's more of a intuitive kind of a request response than getting this kind of a raw. I hope this workaround is helpful to you. So I just found it. It's not my credit, of course. Credit all goes to this awesome blog post. All right, I hope this was helpful to you. If you like my work and you want to follow along this content, make sure you subscribe my channel and set your bell icon active so that you get notified the moment I upload the new episode for this journey or maybe other topics that I already started. We'll connect soon. Thanks for watching and take care.